Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, Emmy Award-winning actor, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision. Especially when you're galloping side-saddle down a countryside road on a horse named Archibello, who seems to have only one speed, high. And pulling on his reins only seems to encourage him to go even faster. So, of course, my body hurts and my joints ache, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life. Oh, Archibello!
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
As soon as this scene wraps, I'm going to kiss the ground, thank Archibello for his outstanding performance, feed him a carrot, and visit brainhealth.gov.
Find out how you can make the most of your brain as you age at brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of people with pets say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Turns out that those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number, 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddles or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months old. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great Granite State of New Hampshire. It is January number 10 in the year of our Lord 2018. Glad that you are all on board. We've got the Intel report coming up later in the second hour this morning as well. You know, folks, there are times when whatever I say on social media just can't, I'm going to be honest about it. Whatever I say on social media just can't get a response. It can't even get somebody just to say, blah. And then there are times when I am just inundated with folks responding to something that I tweeted or something that I just said off the top of my head and wrote it down. And it's yesterday was one of those days. It was just prolific. It was unplanned. It was just a bunch of stuff that I was saying off the top of my head, and got all kinds of people engaged. Now, I was all over social media yesterday, from Gab to Twitter to Facebook and LinkedIn, and I was just talking about various different things, from Bitcoin and all this wonderful crypto and alt currency stuff. I still haven't gotten any straight answers on this. Look, when it comes to the cryptocurrency and the Bitcoin stuff, other than, my main question was, other than Bitcoin, what other of these alternate or cryptocurrencies are actually being used by regular people on a relatively everyday basis to do commerce? And as far as I can tell, all the answers I gotten from various, social media outlets where I posed the question, there isn't any. So my question is, if you walk into, now I don't know what it's like where you are, but here in New England there are some stores, believe it or not, some ammo stores, gun stores, and there are some stores, especially out in the western half of Massachusetts. The dirty little secret is the western half of Massachusetts, pretty much going west past Worcester, once you hit the greater Springfield area and into the Massachusetts Berkshires, they secretly want to secede from Mass, because they're kind of like California. Northern California wants to secede and become the state of Jefferson. Massachusetts the Western Mass wants to secede too, because there are a bunch of conservatives out that way, but they're extremely outnumbered by the cities on the east, like Boston and Worcester, and Lowell and Lawrence and the Cape. They're just outnumbered. And they usually take whatever the state of Massachusetts does as far as financial stuff goes. The western part of the state usually gets the brunt of it. Usually, they end up paying for a lot of the crap, and most of them don't even go east. I remember when the Big Dig, paying for the Big Dig in Boston was being discussed, and they were talking about raising tolls on the entire thruway, Mass Turnpike. And those in the West were asking, and the western part said, we don't even go to Boston. Why the hell should we pay for your mess? They had a point. But I digress. You have some stores out there that actually have in their windows, just like, we accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express. They also say they accept Bitcoin. But I have never seen any other alternate currency being accepted at any store anywhere. Not online, not in reality, in brick and mortar. So my question was pretty valid as to, if nobody's accepting it or using it as real currency anywhere, and it's only this specialized type of currency, why the hell is all these, the prices of this alternate currency going through the roof? It's all speculation. And look, I even put out there, hey, if you know how to do this, I've got the idea. If you know how to program it, let's team up. Let's form our own alternate currency. Because you got some guy out there who's now worth some 30 or 40 or 50 billion dollars by creating a currency that nobody uses. So I figure, what the hell? Might as well try it. By the way, congrats to the New Hampshire ticket holder of the latest jackpot lottery. The only winner, I guess, was sold. The ticket was sold in a convenience store in southern New Hampshire, in Merrimack, and this store alone is going to get a windfall of $75,000 for selling the winning ticket. And so far, the winner has not come forward yet, as far as I know. I haven't heard yet this morning if they did, but they haven't come forward. It's a lot of money. I can't remember what the final the whole jackpot is, but it's a lot of money. And they either probably, Lord, I hope they act like a typical New Englander and they kept the ticket. They didn't lose it. But they may be out there getting all their ducks in a row, because I do it. If I play the lottery and I want a huge jackpot like that, well, any substantial jackpot, first thing I do is want to get all my ducks in a row. I have to get a proper attorney. I'd have to get a good accountant, and start setting up trust funds and accounts and everything to handle the cash, so I wouldn't lose it all. I wouldn't. And some people, no, I wouldn't have somebody just blindly handle my money, because we see this in Hollywood far too often, especially with child stars. They grow up and find out they don't have any money because either their parents or the person that was their manager that was supposed to be looking out for them, just spent or stole or took or squandered all their cash, and they're broke when they become an adult. And there are a lot of musicians and movie stars that go through this whole thing too. And a lot of them actually get in trouble, with taxes. Look at Wesley Snipes, was one. Now, granted, Wesley Snipes supposedly found guilty of knowing some of the stuff that he did to avoid paying taxes. He knew about some of the stuff he evidently didn't know about, but it was his taxes, so he was responsible for them. So this happens a lot. So never let anybody. I don't care how much you think you're worth, or how much money you make, or how busy you think you are. Never let anybody handle your affairs, your financial affairs blindly without you. Because one day you'll wake up and find somebody will be knocking at your door or calling on your phone. Hey, your check bounced, and you'll be like, what do you mean my check bounced? I'm worth $30 million. Well, your check bounced, and you call the bank and you find out you have nothing. That happens more often than you might think, by the way. It really does. But hey, this is what, if you're a liberal and you wake up one day and all your money's gone because somebody else spent it, well, that's pretty much what you want government to do to everybody. Just saying. I mean, that's just the truth. You don't want to spend. Now, of course, your accountant takes your money and spends on himself because why? He doesn't have enough of his own, or he doesn't want to spend his own. But you've got plenty, so he's going to take it from you. Well, what's the government do? The government thinks that you've got plenty of money, so they're just going to take it from you and spend it on other people for no apparent reason. And you get nothing in return but a bill. You get a huge bill. Hey, and then they come after you for more because you haven't. They need more. Hey, Rod. You haven't done a movie in a couple of years. Maybe you should go do another movie. Why? Yeah, I'm waiting for Daniel Day-Lewis to come out of retirement. Isn't he the actor that decided he was going to retire from acting? I'm waiting for the day that he announces that he's coming out of retirement because much like Nicolas Cage, he's going to find himself broke because somebody stole all his money or he got overtaxed or both. The reality is if you're overtaxed, taxation is legal government thievery. Now, understand that there is a need for a certain amount of taxation in order to make government and society work. I am not against paying an appropriate amount in taxes. Taxes have always been needed for the actual and real workings of honest government. But I also always say, if the good Lord above only asks you to tithe, which is 10%, if he only wants and needs 10%, why the hell does a government need more than that? It doesn't. If they do what government is actually meant to do, and right now we've got governments all over the world that are trying to do things that governments were never designed and never worked at doing. So if we just got back to the real basics of what government really is all about, or should be all about, you probably could have a federal government that operated on... Remember, this country didn't always have an income tax. There's a lot of people who think that we had an income tax from day one. We didn't have an income... What is it? 1917, 1920? Around there? Woodrow Wilson introduced this stupid thing. So, well, how did our federal government operate before we had an income tax? And by the way, the first income tax really wasn't an income tax; it was a wealth tax. It was 1% it was a tax on the wealthiest people in the country. And by the way, that tax actually caused some very rich people, wealthy people in this country to go bankrupt. Why? Because it was a wealth tax, not a cash or an income tax. And what Trump did the other day, by the way, with farmers, to get rid of a lot of this onerous estate tax to farmers. See, you don't understand how devastating this has been to our farm system and our farm culture and family farms across this country over the last 20 years or so. It's been devastating. Why? Because you've had banks and other institutions come to these farmers and say, hey, your land, your farm is now worth $20 million. Well, you might think, well, that's good for the farmer. No, it's not really. It's not good at all. Why? What's he do? Because he goes around and he starts borrowing money against the $20 million, to buy new equipment and stuff like that. But the reality is is that when he dies and has to pass it off to his heirs, well, now the government comes in and says, your estate's worth $20 million. Well, between the Fed and state level, now you owe about $9 or $10 million in taxes. Well, the value, they say, is $20 million. But the farm never made anywhere near that. They don't have the cash. So what's the farm have to do? The farmer's heirs have to have a fire sale. Who ends up buying it on the cheap in order for the farmer's heirs to pay off the estate taxes? Yeah, corporate farms. This is how corporate farms grew like you would not believe. It was a collusion between, it was a crony capitalism. It was a collusion between government, financial institutions, and corporate farms. Hey, if you say these people's farms are worth so much, when they die, they got to pay all these taxes. They can't afford to pay the taxes because why? Because they don't have the cash. Because the farms never generated anywhere near that kind of tax, near that kind of money. That's the reality and the truth. That is the farce with this estate tax, folks. It's based on wealth, not on somebody's perceived value. Often inflated. Not on the cash that you have on hand, and not on the cash that the business or property or asset creates, but on somebody's perceived value. Now, the last person I want to value anything that I have is the government, because you can better believe they're going to value it in such a way. Look at property taxes. How many times do people have to challenge their property tax assessment? Why? Because local municipalities that place and levy property taxes, they always seem to have this innate ability to estimate that the value of your house is a lot more than it actually is. Now, there's two reasons for that. One, they get more tax revenue, and two, because of stupid idiots that the stupid idiots that actually are in office that are doing the assessment. Well, they most likely own a home within the municipality too, and of course they can say, "Well, hey, everybody's houses is worth more than you think," which means theirs is too. There's a little. Trust me, folks. When it comes to taxation, when it comes to being fair and honest, when it comes to only taxing what is needed, you can't trust the government to determine that. And I think Trump did a good thing yesterday when he decided that most of this estate taxation on farmers is either going to be extremely reduced or eliminated in most cases. And that's a good thing, because these people they don't have the cash to afford this, and they're being robbed of not only their heritage, but of their property at fire sale prices in order to pay the taxes. Because if they don't pay the taxes, one of two things happens. Either the heirs are charged with avoiding taxes and go to jail, or the IRS confiscates the property and they get jack. You see how that works? Yeah, not fair at all, is it? You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Around the town when folks are snacking,
Bell's the brand, you'll find them packing.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. At parties, dinner, or when you're lunching,
Bell's the brand that gets you crunching.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell.
The potato chip that's made today is fresh today to be crisp today. So dip away, eat them any old way, and let the chips fall where they may.
In the bag or boxed in the pack,
Bell's the one that keeps you coming back.
'cause great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. Bell, swell.
You're there. By the way, you know, for all the we still have all these people complaining and whining and crying about Trump, and a lot of celebrities too. Wait a minute. We're 10 days away from 1 year ago of Trump taking the oath of office, and you're still here. Didn't all these people promise to move to Canada or Tahiti or someplace outside the United States if Trump were elected and inaugurated? They're all. I haven't seen a single one of them move. I don't know. Has any of them moved? You know, I know Whoopi Goldberg's still here, and the cow Rosie O'Donnell's still here. They were supposedly, some of them actually, had looked into having their property listed for sale so they could move on. What, you can't afford to buy another house? Many of you have multiple houses. Oh wait, because maybe the market won't handle your your asking price of your stupid mansion, your Hollywood why are you all still here? Or why did you move back? Didn't Madonna? Why are you back? Didn't you live in outside of London for the longest time? Didn't you have like a country estate that you loved dearly, and you even started picking up an English accent, and you came back? Why? Why is what's her face? The nasty woman. Why is she still here? I'm beside myself. All these people promised to leave if Trump won or if Trump was inaugurated, and yet they're still. Wait, are you telling me that they all lied? Wait, all of those celebrities, all of those people who still hate Trump, who still lie about Trump, who are still scared to death about Trump, who every time you mention the name President Trump, they turn into little soft marshmallows and start bawling their eyes out. All of those people who promised to leave. Hell, even Sean Hannity offered to pay their one-way ticket, so they wouldn't even have to pay that. But how many of them took him up on it? How many of them left? How many of them are still here? They're all still here. Why? Get the hell out! You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Many places have already, and here it is, only January number 10 in this winter season of 2017-2018, and you've got many places as far south as Florida and central Texas that have broken records and even broken snowfall totals. I mean, they're getting snow in places that they don't generally get snow. We're getting now, folks, this is the most ridiculous thing. We're getting these so-called sea level measurements that are saying that the sea level is rising. Well, okay, I am not going to say that they're wrong, that the sea level is rising. Well, here's because logically speaking, you might think, well, if the north and south poles, if the polar caps have more ice than they have had in recorded history, you would think that maybe that the water levels should shrink because they're supposed to, well, the ice comes from the seawater, right? And it's seawater that's being frozen. So that means that there's water that's being taken out. But here's the reason why the sea levels might be rising. It isn't because the ice is melting. It's because there is more ice. So do the experiment. What do you do when you at home? Anybody? I remember this. So this was something that was very glaring because this was something that was on some TV program. I think it was Zoom, a long time ago. And they took a can of soda. And this is how kids can remember this. They took a can of soda and they poured it in a typical glass, and they poured almost the entire can of soda into the glass. And everybody's like, yeah. I mean, we love that kind of soda. We love that. We get the whole can of soda in one glass. And then they filled the glass up with ice. And lo and behold, they only got about a third of the can of soda into the glass of ice. Why? Because all that ice took the place of the soda. It displaced it. So maybe the reason the ocean levels are high, I'm just speculating here, maybe the reason the ocean levels are higher and they're not, and they're being accurate about it, is because there's so much damn ice that it's displacing the water. I'm just does anybody ever think of that? No. We're all supposed to automatically think it's man-made climate change and global warming. I'm just saying. It is just one of just one of those things, I guess, when people start doing that kind of stuff. But here it is. When it comes to this sort of thing, this sort of hysteria about climate change, we've got the governor of Washington State who's claiming that we've got just 59 days to save the children from global warming. Now, wait, I thought it was man-made climate change. No. The governor of Washington State says that the state of Washington has just 59 days to save the children from global warming. I kid you not. Let's get into the story from the Daily Caller, shall we? He said they took a tweet from the governor, Governor Jay Inslee, Inslee. He tweeted, "We have just 59 days to do our part to save our children from an endless cycle of crop-killing droughts one year and rivers spilling their banks the next. To save salmon from dying in ever-warming rivers and our forests from being reduced to plumes of ash." Well, let's just take his tweet apart first, shall we? Shall we put a little bit of legitimacy into his tweet? Well, to save our kids from an endless cycle of crop-killing droughts one year and rivers spilling their banks next year, that's called climate and weather, and the Earth has been doing that for eons. A drought one year and a flood the next, that has nothing to do with man. Are you telling me that's never happened before? Well, of course it's happened. History is replete with that kind of stuff. Oh, and the salmon are dying to ever warming. How is a river warming if it's coming? If places like Washington State, it has to be from runoff from what? From the snow melting. Now, I don't care if it's global warming or not, but it doesn't matter where on the planet there is global warming that might be taking place. Water still freezes at 32 degrees. It's still damn cold. And it melts at 33, roughly speaking. So it's still cold. So are you telling me that somehow now snow is now warmer? I'm just asking the question. And as far as our forests being reduced to plumes of ash, well, haven't we just shown or proven or arrested people that have caused most of the major fires, forest fires that are going on? Wasn't that arson that got started? One of the major forest fires out there in California? It wasn't Mother Nature. And by the way, because you idiots like Governor Jay Inslee refuse to let people actually manage the forest in their own property by clearing underbrush and dead leaves and dead junk and dead tree, and clearing all of this fuel. Because remember when we used to be able to do that, and forest fires were cut dramatically. Well, now we have all these wonderful environmentalist wackos. Hey, no, you're taking away the homes of the grouse and the little itty bitty forest mouse and blah blah. All these wonderful creatures that live in the underbrush that you're clearing away. Well, now they don't have any home because it's all burnt down because we couldn't clear that crap out of the way. Just saying. When you clear all of that, it's less fuel. In other words, dead stuff dries out, right? In the forest, in the woods, dead stuff dries out. It catches, well, it's kind of like you're in a fireplace. What do you do? What do you have to do what's the best thing to do with firewood? What? You let it season. In other words, you let it dry out for 1 to 3 years before it's any good. Because it doesn't burn very well if it's still green or wet. But it burns awesome once you let it dry out. Yeah? Yeah. I mean, you can't. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, by the way, Prince Charles is also added too when it comes to this. There is a program on Netflix that really, it really disparages the royal family. It's a British comedy. I can't remember. I only saw. It was so bad that people, what they do to Donald Trump. Oh my God, what they have done to the British royal family is absolutely ridiculous. You have to look at it. It's a new release on Netflix. And I don't think it's a Netflix program. I think it's a BBC program or Channel 4 or whatever the British have over there. I can't remember the name of it. Just saying. And it just makes everyone in the royal family look like complete and utter buffoons. It is so bad that Prince Harry, they have the character of Prince Harry as being illiterate, can't read or write. And that Prince William, the only thing he cares about is running around trying to help the innocent and the poor by flying his helicopter because Daddy Prince Charles, he won't let him fly a helicopter anymore. And Camilla is this backstabbing. Well, they may have Camilla actually right. I don't know. But in any case, it just made me think of it. And it's just, like it's like a half-hour comedy or so. It's really real. I mean, the acting is pretty bad, but it's British. But the humor, it's British comedy. It's British humor. But what they do, they thoroughly roast the British monarchy like you would not believe. I mean, you would think that they took their cue from liberals here in the United States and what they do to Trump in order to make this comedy series. But in any case, Prince Charles is back in the news, and he gives the world unlike Governor Inslee. Prince Charles is giving the world a reprieve as far as climate is concerned. Yes, remember when Prince Charles had his 100-month climate tipping point? Well, he's extended that 100-month climate tipping point. I don't know where does he come up with 100 months anyway? Well, he's extended that 100-month tipping point to an additional 35 years. Yes. It is serially doomed. UN issues new 15-year climate tipping point, but UN issued tipping point in 82 and another 10-year tipping point in 89. And so now now there's another one. Have you noticed how they're extending all these doomsday scenarios out now? Yeah, they're extending them out just far enough for your grandchildren to be able to be the ones to experience the devastation, but you and your children probably will not be alive. So they're we're going to have real problems in the weather by the time the year 2100 comes now. Well, by the time the year 2100 gets here, many people alive today are going to be dead. They're not going to experience it. We're not going to know if we're right or wrong. You're not going to know. But that's the way they want to play it now because they finally learned their lesson. They can't tell us that there's going to be doomsday a decade from now because we'll remember it. And when the doomsday doesn't happen, we'll say, hey, remember you said. And so now they've got to spread it out so it's years and years and years away that most of us will not be able to be. Well, we might shock them. Medical science might advance an awful lot over the next few years that will allow and cause people to live into well over a century. Can you imagine if human beings are capable of healthy living, not being in a vegetative state, both mentally and physically? If we're able to live to be 130 to 150 years old, can you imagine the change in society? Well, yeah. Well, it would really definitely change the whole thing on climate change. That's for damn sure. They wouldn't be able to get rid of this, get away with this kind of stuff so easily. But yes, Prince Charles says that we must tackle climate change now, but you know, the climate change reprieve is the 100-month reprieve or tipping point is now more like 35 years out. So we've got another 35 years to completely poison and pollute the planet before we have to do what some wonderful scientist out there, and it's not just one. There's a couple of these well-known scientists that are saying that in order for man to survive, we're going to have to leave the planet. Well, at some point in history, that's probably going to be true because our sun is going to go, it's going to go nova, right? At some point. And it's going to engulf and engulf the planet, and then all humanity on the planet is going to be gone. So we're going to have to go outside of our solar system at some point if humankind is to survive. That depends on when Jesus Christ comes back. That changes everything, by the way. But until then, we've got to keep our eye on the sun. If the sun starts to grow, it's going to get hotter on this planet, by the way. If the sun grows, the planet gets hot. If the sun shrinks, the planet's going to get colder. Well, maybe the sun has more impact on us than they're letting on.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Talking out of your arse because no prominent scientist says that we need to really get off the planet. Really? Might I remind you of what everybody looks at Stephen Hawking as this science god. By the way, he's an atheist, by the way, just so people know. Stephen Hawking says the Earth will become unbearably boiling hot thanks to man-made climate change. In other words, we're going to end up like Venus, according to Stephen Hawking. Hawking has reiterated his claim that Earth will turn into a boiling hot pot if runaway greenhouse gases are not stopped. By the way, methane is not a greenhouse gas. CO2 is not a greenhouse gas, Mr. Hawking. Your own theories and your own studies have shown that it's not. It's a necessary gas. I guess they really still think that methane is a problem because that's why they're still working in Australia on producing a cow that doesn't fart. I'm not sure if I want to eat a cow that holds in its farts. Drink its milk. I'm just saying. I mean, that's got to be nasty. It's got to be. It recirculates in the body. Ugh. What is up with that? Anyway, Professor Hawking said the U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement has doomed Earth to one day becoming uninhabitable. But Professor Hawking, everybody who belonged to that Paris Agreement, the scientists who came up with that Paris Agreement, even said and admitted that it wasn't going to do a damn thing to stop global warming. So if it wasn't going to do anything, why should we sign up for it? So we can allow our treasury to be fleeced by the rest of the world? Is that what you're asking for? Well, hell, if the United States has all its money stolen by all these other countries, then we can't lead the world in getting off the damn planet when we have to. Venus, the second closest planet to the sun, he said, was once like Earth. Well, the theory is that Venus also doesn't belong in our solar system. It was captured by the sun. It was a planet from someplace else. Because it's the only one that goes backwards. It's got a rotation that goes the wrong way, and its orbit goes the wrong way. So maybe... So I don't know how Venus could have been more like when it's as close as it is to the sun. I mean, Professor Hawking, you're trying to start. Are you saying now that the sun has no effect? Well, if that's the case, then why is Mercury a molten hotbed, and Mars is so freaking cold? Just asking you people out there, you scientists. Really? Are we supposed to buy all of this chatter and this goofy crap from you? I guess so. But, because, look, we've got to go to Mars. Well, don't we have to heat up Mars first before we can go there? Not to mention, don't we have to thicken the atmosphere a little bit? There's not enough oxygen up there for us to survive. You're just saying. Even people like Stephen Hawking, they perpetuate this garbage. It's just really ridiculous. We'll be back. Intel Report next.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole. If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of french fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Let's rock this joint!
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Rod Eccles.
And welcome back, hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show. Glad that you are here as we continue on. We are trying to connect up with Skype this morning to try to get get Agent 0010 on the line, but there's something going on with Skype this morning. I have no idea what the issue is. I just happened to look up and notice that there is a major issue with it. It's not well, as we continue to work on this issue while I talk to you, and try to get this settled. Anyway, we have a number of different things going on as far as what Trump is doing, as far as he's eliminating the wonderful state taxes that farmers have to pay. We have a bunch of people out there. Well, there's a Wolff book out there. Everybody's talking about, well, Wolff is this and Wolff is that. I'm like, give me a break. Wolff is nothing. Wolff is a jackass. Wolff doesn't even know what he's doing, the author. But we're all ignoring the fact that Trump has done so many wonderful things so far with the economy. Like, well, we don't have a whole hell of a lot of people that want a job out of the workforce now. Do we? No, we don't. I'm still trying to figure, well, it is what it is, folks. You're still trying to figure out why it is that they want to, well, we know why they want to cover up the truth. What, black unemployment rate, lowest ever, lowest in history ever. You have Latino unemployment, the lowest in decades. Unemployment rate, lowest in decades. You have white unemployment rate is the lowest it's been in about a decade now. 8 or 9 years. It's been 8 or 9 years since the unemployment rate has been this low for white workers. So everybody is getting the benefit of the Trump economy. And frankly, if you are going to say that, well, hey, this is Obama's economy. No, it's not. We're talking, what is the number? Over 2 million jobs have been created under Trump. We didn't get that many jobs under Obama. And these are real paying jobs because what do we have? We have over 2 million fewer food stamp recipients now. And these people aren't being kicked off because, they're running out of their benefits. No. They are leaving the system, the government system, because they're starting to earn too much money. In other words, they're finding real paying jobs, middle class paying jobs, not stupid little soft paying jobs that they have, for these service jobs that pay minimum wage. We're talking real paying jobs, and we're not talking the kind of jobs that you get obviously at Amazon in Ohio either, where they're only paying you $12.50, $12.60 an hour, so you can still get food stamps. But and it has nothing to do with certain municipalities raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, because a lot of people lost their jobs in places like Seattle and San Francisco, and businesses either moved out of the cities or shut down because of such a thing. So not because of that, it's because of less government regulation. And every time we turn around, we get corporations talking about how they're going to give their workers bonuses and raises and all that kind of stuff due to the tax cut.
Oh, tax cuts are only for the rich, Rod. They're only for the rich.
Really? I can't convince me of that. But anyway, let's. Man, this whole Skype thing is all of a sudden just what? Well, it's owned by Microsoft. I have no idea what is going on with this. Microsoft did an upload, and I did, or update, and I didn't give it permission to do an update. It just did an update, all on its own. But let's see if we can get. Can we get see if we can get the. We can get the. Geez, I can't even get this to work anyhow. Because you've got Skype that's useful as an app on your desktop, and you have Skype that's useful on your as online. And I can't get it to work online. There is something major going on here. I can't get them up. Sorry, folks. I'm doing my best here, but Skype is not working. So in other words, if Skype isn't even working on the internet, it can't be my system. It really has to be with Skype here. We're going to have to try to see if we can get him here now. I don't know. Can everybody hear me? Hello. Can we hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I think we got you now. I have no idea what's going on with Skype.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I mean, my whole app is down. Every time I try to reboot the app, it starts to come up, but it's all blank. There's nothing there. And then I go to the Skype account online, and it says, well, it gives you the option, do you want to use Skype online? Well, yeah, because the app isn't working. And then online, it wasn't working. What the hell? I'm really starting to get a complex here, man.
I'm not saying nothing because every time I do, you say, "Nah, that can't be. Nah, that can't be."
I'm just saying I'm starting to get paranoid now, and I'm not a paranoid person, but this is this is way out of hand.
And it's been happening ever since I've been doing the show.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, it makes you wonder. It makes you sit there and go, what's up with that? Just like you did now.
Yeah. Well, hold on for a second. Because we were all screwed up because of Microsoft. We didn't get this in. There we go. Now it's official. We're into this week's edition of the Intel Report. Agent 007, how are you doing?
It's 0010.
That's what I said. 0010.
I'm a perfect 10 in my own mind. Anyway, greetings and salutations, Rod. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great week. Yeah. So I want to cover something real quick, and has nothing to do with the Intel Report. It's just chiming in on what you said about the entire climate change and everything else. Everybody keeps talking about how the polar ice caps, oh my God, they're melting. Maybe those volcanoes that have been discovered underneath the polar caps have something to do with it. Maybe, just maybe. Call me crazy, but active volcanoes underneath ice has a tendency of, well, melting ice. Go figure. And then there are those individuals that are running around saying, well, what about the glaciers? There are no volcanoes under the glaciers. You're absolutely right. There are no volcanoes underneath glaciers. But guess what? They've discovered that even though the glaciers are getting shorter, they're getting considerably thicker. So what's made up in length is being made up in thickness of the glaciers themselves. So therefore, shut up.
Well, I mean, if you want to go the conspiracy route, especially in Antarctica down there in the South Pole, the reason for the ice might be melting is because of aliens. There's an alien base down there. That's why we're all down there, because there's an alien base down there. I'm telling you. That's what
Okay, we're going to go right to the Intel Report now. Oh. Look out, folks. Anyway, now, you and I had a phone conversation a couple of weeks ago. And I also brought this up on the air. But on the phone, I told you exactly who is responsible for the protests and the riots that are going on in Iran. Now, Mr. Eccles, could you please, if you remember, could you please tell everybody who I said is responsible for this?
The protests in Iran. Oh, you were saying it was probably Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. Because Saudi Arabia has an extensive, phenomenal intelligence organization. Their intel organizations are amazing. These guys are embedded in places where we could never be embedded. Well, guess where they're embedded? Iran. Where did the Iranian people get this list of where their money is being thrown away to? Saudi Arabia. Now, last week I said, I know exactly who's doing it, and I'm not going to say who. The reason why I said that is because the simple fact is that I don't know who's listening, so on and so forth. Well, then all of a sudden, the Iranian government comes out and says, it's the United States and Israel, and oh yeah, by the way, Saudi Arabia too. Now, they didn't put a big emphasis on Saudi Arabia because they basically know that Saudi Arabia can destroy them internally and militarily. But they finally admitted that Saudi Arabia is involved in what's going on with the protests. Now, it really blows my mind away to think that people seem to say that Saudi Arabia is doing this because they want to kill the Iranian people. No, Saudi Arabia is doing this because they want to destroy the regime that is in power at this moment. Because when you challenge the top dog on the block, well, guess what? Things are going to happen. And that top dog is going to fight hard, and he's going to, for lack of better terminology, rip your throat out. And that's exactly what Saudi Arabia is doing now. But the Iranians refuse to admit to this. The Iranians refuse to actually put full blame on Saudi Arabia. Why? Because now here we have a situation of a Muslim culture going up against a Muslim culture, because Muslim culture A, being Saudi Arabia, deems Muslim culture B, which is Iran, to be going against the teachings of the Prophet that was handed down to him by Allah. So Saudi Arabia basically being the home of the Prophet and where the Prophet is buried, well, guess what? They have a little bit more clout as to say who and what and when and where. As opposed to Iran, they have nothing. All they have are the imams. That's all they have. So having a seal of approval from Saudi Arabia means a great deal to many, many Muslim, predominantly Muslim countries, such as Iran. And guess what? They don't have the seal of approval. And they're never going to have the seal of approval until the current regime is deposed. Now, another thing I want to cover. Do you remember when everybody was making fun of the president saying, oh, look at him, he's always talking about his big red button and his big something or the other, his big hand. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, my button is bigger than your button type of thing. Speaking about the North Korean pot-bellied dictator who said that his nuclear button is always on his desk.
Well, while the press was making fun of the president for saying this, they missed something crucial, something exceedingly important, because cryptic messages are part of politics. And the president sent out a cryptic message, and it was right there for the entire planet to read. Everybody read it, but ignored it. Every single solitary human being, predominantly the media, ignored these words. And my button works. Those were the last 4 words of that Twitter message that was sent out.
Yes.
Everybody ignored it. What does this message say? Hey, guess what? You have a button, I have a button. My button launches real nuclear warheads. Yours doesn't. This was a message. Now, why do I know this was effective? What happened 2 days later? Oh yeah, North Korea picks up the phone and says, hey, South Korea, what's up? How you doing? Long time no talk. I know, it's been 2 years. It seems longer. Hey, let's talk about the Olympics, okay? Why don't we talk about that? Let's get together. We're going to have some beer and some nice hot dogs, and we'll talk about the Olympics. It's exactly what happened. There was a cryptic message that President Trump placed in that tweet, in that Twitter message, that hit home and hit hard with the North Korean regime. And those simple words were, 4 of them, and my button works.
Well, I mean, when you're, not only does our button work, it is highly more reliable and accurate. The Norks still can't hit the broadside of a barn. They may have nuclear capabilities, but they can't. I know close only counts with hand grenades and horseshoes, but it does close works with nuclear weapons too. But if you're going to be effective with a nuclear weapon, you got to be more accurate than say 300 miles.
Well, and you also have to be able to hit something other than your own city, like they did last year.
That was also ignored by Western media as well. That they hit themselves.
It's funny. It's like taking a lawn dart. Remember those big lawn darts, throwing it straight up in the air, and then all of a sudden screaming, "Run!" That's exactly what happened. I mean, they hit their own city, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh, God." And then the funny part is that when you have a contributor to CNN who says, the president really doesn't have a button on his desk. Really, stupid? Really? Like the entire country doesn't know about the football, about that little briefcase that carries the codes. No, we actually thought it was a real big red button. You're an idiot. You really are. You think that we're that stupid to actually think that the man has an actual button sitting on his desk.
Well, yeah, like the Staples button. That was easy.
Oh, you mean like that big red button that Hillary Clinton used to do the Russian reset. Gee, that worked out well, no, didn't it?
She did do that as a visual. She used a big red button as a yes, she did. And
yeah, here's a visual. Hillary Clinton in an orange jumpsuit. That's a visual now that I can live with.
That would be, yes, I wouldn't mind seeing that myself. In any case, we got to take a quick break here. Can you hang on until after the breaks?
But of course.
All right, don't go anywhere. We got some more stuff that we're going to cover here with the Intel Report. Not done yet. Skype can't keep us down.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
You know, there is something when we get back from the bottom of the hour break here. I want to ask Agent 0010 if he knows anything about these alternate currencies, because I put forth some of these questions, and I'm getting all these people that are extreme techies now starting to pile on me and tell me, well, people can go to the dark web and do. Well, the average person doesn't know how to access the dark web, let alone know how to use it, and you still can't buy your everyday goods using cryptocurrency, and you sure as hell can't pay your taxes using it. And there are countries like, now, I didn't know Russia already banned Bitcoin. And evidently there's somebody who's on social media that's saying, well, yeah, I'm a Russian and I don't have no problem in buying and trading in Bitcoin. Well, great. Are you buying anything inside your country? Well, no. Well, there you go. So look, I'm not against alternate currencies. My only question is, how legitimate are they? And if they're not all that legitimate, at least not yet, then how is it that they can have these values that are shooting through the roof? So much so where you've got the one Bitcoin or that one alternate currency by Ripple that's got the founder of Ripple worth more than Zuckerberg from Facebook. Seriously, he's worth like $40 billion now off of a cryptocurrency that nobody can really use. So those are my questions. I mean, is this is this something that can be used to topple or manipulate governments like North Korea, or are they just really just going to block all of this kind of stuff? And could this cause all kinds of other problems, especially when we're dealing with economies of Iran? One of the problems that Iran is having is that their economy is in the toilet. I mean, their own fault, but still. Will cryptocurrencies assist in their economies being in the toilet if they don't come on board? How is that going to affect us all?
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
There was something good that came out of the 70s. It wasn't fashion. God knows it wasn't fashion. It wasn't disco either, because disco was probably one of the quickest musical fads to come and go that there has been in the history of popular music. What did disco lasted, like 4 years? I mean, it was here and it was gone, along with the polyester suit. Thank God for the polyester suit going away. But it did give us funkadelic and funk soul music. It gave us, people like, George Clinton, and the funk, all the funky groups, Get Down on It, all those wonderful. It gave us the Commodores. The Commodores were originally started as a funk soul band. Lionel Richie, Brick House and all that kind of stuff. Those are classics now. That's what the 70s gave us as far as music. The good stuff, not all the bad stuff. I mean, there's a lot of terrible stuff came out of the 70s. Also, it also gave us Carter, the worst president in our country's history until Obama came along. And if we can see a lot of similarities here. In the 70s. There was an issue with oil, which stemmed from problems in the Middle East. Yes, we had oil shortages here, gas lines, all that kind of stuff in Nixon, and then of course Tricky Nicky got involved in his little Watergate thing. But we had all these issues that stemmed from the Middle East, and then Carter, came into play and came into office, and Iran had a revolution and overthrew the Shah of Iran, and we got the Ayatollah Khomeini, and our embassy was raided, and all the embassy workers were held hostage for 444 days or some stupid number like that. So we had a number of issues that started with the Middle East in the 70s that led to a bad economy that took a good, solid Republican to fix, Ronald Reagan. Look what the start of this century did. We had a Republican president, just like we did with Nixon in the 70s. We had a major issue come out of the Middle East under Nixon. We had a major issue come out of the Middle East called the War on Terror, that eventually was called the War on Terror under Bush. Then we got a Democratic president who really effed things up. The only difference between the 70s and this past time is that instead of only having him be president for one term, we let Obama be president for 2 terms. So he got to double down on being a bad president. And now we've got a Republican president like Reagan who's turning things around in a lot faster than people predicted, because now we have to understand that it took Reagan a while to start turning things around back then, but he still did it faster than most people thought he could. And Reagan was not liked by the blue bloods of the GOP at the time. But eventually the Republicans came around and they started supporting him. Look what we have with Trump. They hated Trump. GOP, the blue bloods, hated Trump. I'm not saying that there's a love fest. They still don't like him all that much, but now it looks like they're starting to support his agenda. History does repeat itself, does it not? Well, part of the thing is one of the things that we have to understand is there all of this stuff has economics embroiled in it. You know, back then it's oil. Today it's still oil. But now we have something new, and it's called this cryptocurrency, alternative currency. Most people understand it as Bitcoin, but it's more than there's more than 1,400 alternative currencies or crypto and cloud currencies currently trading out there. But the only one I know of is Bitcoin that is being used in any way, on or offline, at least here in the United States. Now, maybe in other countries, it could be, it could be other currencies like Ripple or Cloud Coin or whatever the other 1,400 are. But the reality is that there are a number of countries that are clamping down not just on Bitcoin, but on cryptocurrencies altogether. Russia evidently has just banned cryptocurrencies. Other countries, you don't even have access in the internet. Iran has a closed internet. North Korea has a closed internet system. So there's no way for them to utilize it. So it's not a usable world system, and you still can't buy everyday needs with a cryptocurrency, and you still can't pay your taxes with a cryptocurrency. But is this really going to be able to be used to undermine governments in the near future? Do you think? What do you think, Agent?
He's invested in Bitcoin because he knows that if you have a good enough hacker, well, you can either elevate or drop a cryptocurrency. Now, if anybody sits there and tells me, oh, no, it's safe, it's secure, you're lying. Do not lie to me, because when I'm lied to, I get very angry. And I don't want to hear...
because the way the alternate currency, most of them work, is through this blockchain, which is supposed to be an unhackable series of private computers and servers all over the planet. But we know how well that works. Just a virus, simple virus, can get into all of them and take it down.
Yeah, like Apple, like the iPhone was unhackable. Oh yeah, hey, guess what, guys? We got into the iPhone. That was the FBI, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't. Everything is hackable, and if it's created by man, it can be hacked by man. End of story. So, to turn around and say that now, can you imagine one single solitary human being controlling the economy of the planet?
Well, that's what would happen if as far as I understand, Bitcoin is not controlled by one person, because even the person who invented it, it's questionable. I mean, there are 3 people that claim that they invented it, but nobody knows for sure. But all these other alternative currencies, they are controlled by one entity or one person, like the Ripple currencies. I mean, evidently Ripple is the name of the company, and they've got more than one alternate currency. Just make up a currency, I guess, right?
I thought Ripple was what Fred G. Sanford used to love drinking on Sanford and Son. Hey, you come in, bring me a bottle of Rebel. Anyway, but I mean, to sit there and say, oh, I created this currency. Well, okay, fine. I'm going to go on my printer and I'm going to create $100 bills. Because to me, that is basically like forgery. You're creating a currency. Okay, what do you have to support that currency? Oh, I have this encryption code.
This algorithm.
Okay.
Nobody understands these algorithms, so other than the people who created them. But if you're still not, okay, so let's say you do create an alternate currency, and people start to accept it. So now you can actually utilize it and use it to buy goods and services, and maybe even pay your tax. Well, here's the thing: what happens when governments stop banning it or over-regulating it and start saying, "Oh, okay, so you're worth 1 billion bitcoins, huh? Well, how about you pay me and you pay taxes on that billion in bitcoins, but you got to pay it in real cash. You can't pay me, you can't pay the government in Bitcoin." What are people going to do with that? I mean, is that when it comes down to it? Governments have to be able to collect taxes. It doesn't matter what type of government it is. It could be a total dictatorship, or it could be what we used to be, a totally free country, basically. Government still needs the taxes in order to operate. So if they can't collect, what are they going to do with it? They're going to ban it, are they not? And how many countries...
Keep talking. You are now walking down that path that I am trying to point to. And that path is that if a country cannot collect on taxes, then that country cannot support itself. That country, the infrastructure collapses. The ability to actually help the impoverished collapses. The ability to just create or provide defense, in other words, the military, collapses. Bitcoin and this cryptocurrency is just another tool that can be used to manipulate and to create havoc. And that's why certain individuals, George Soros in particular, are now investing heavily. This is an individual that tried to manipulate the British economy. This is an individual that tried to manipulate the Russian economy. This is an individual that tried to manipulate the French economy. This individual loves manipulating economies, period. And cryptocurrency is the perfect methodology in which to do this. Now, you said the creator of Ripple claims that he's worth more than Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, this is what we can do. Take both of them, sell them, go to the ATM and go get $20. The first one to come back with $20 and can fill up his gas tank with those $20, you're the rich one. Oh, Mr. Bitcoin, you can't get it out of the ATM, you lose. End of story. You lose. Because you can't actually use Bitcoin. You can't actually purchase everyday items such as gas, such as food, such as paying your bills. You can't do that with Bitcoin. You cannot go to an ATM and say, "I'll have 15 algorithms, please." You can't do it. Bitcoin is just another way of saying financial manipulation or economic manipulation. That's all Bitcoin is. Let's call a spade a spade. Bitcoin is to manipulate economies. That's why certain countries have outlawed it, because they understand the threat that it poses, that all of a sudden you have all these millennials that are running around saying, "Oh, this is cool, man. I can pull up Bitcoin on my computer." Okay, how about this? How about you actually go work for a living and pull up money out of an ATM? Or how about you get a credit card after you build up your credit, so that way you can pay that credit card bill? Hey, you know what? Start off slow. Get a debit card. How about that? Start off slow. I mean,
I don't know if Bitcoin has any of those types of. Well, I think they have some sort of a card, but again, it makes no. I cannot wrap my head around this logically, as far as it all of a sudden being a replacement for so-called fiat currency. But I do understand the dangers of it. If everybody's just able to start utilizing, well, what happens when the market on this, everybody who the good old FOMO, fear of missing out, what happens when that wanes? And, people realize, well, this is kind of like penny stocks and they're really kind of worthless. I'm not going to invest anymore and I want my money back. What happens to them then?
You need, in order for this to be completely crushed, what needs to be done is the top economic powers of the planet need to turn around and outlaw it, i.e. the United States, Germany, England, the true powerhouse economies of the world, China. They need to outlaw Bitcoin. Once it is outlawed in those countries and it has no support, then the smaller countries that won't outlaw it, the more or the less economically powerful countries that just allow it to continue, they're going to actually see the difficulties that Bitcoin is going to produce, or these, not just Bitcoin either, these cryptocurrency, what these cryptocurrencies, the damage that they're going to inflict upon their economy. Prime example, let's take a look at a social and political environment. You have Bernie Sanders, he's running around. Let me tell you something, socialism is great, it is fantastic, I'm telling you right now. Okay, yeah, fine. Now, let's take a look at Venezuela. Okay, looks great on paper. Looks fantastic on paper, especially when you have a 1,000-year-old man telling you how wonderful it is. But then when you actually see the living impact that it has on human beings in Venezuela, it doesn't look so good now, does it? Same thing with cryptocurrency. Looks great on paper, but when you get to go use it, or you actually get to apply it, oh, it's going to wreak havoc.
Well, I mean, I do know that as I didn't know that Russia had already banned it until this conversation with somebody from Russia, evidently. Yeah, they banned it here in Russia. Okay, and we know that in certain dictatorial countries it's already been banned, and we know that countries like China are considering either an all-out ban or heavy regulation. We know that the United States is starting to look at this stuff and consider regulating it. I mean, we've already got a couple of states like New York and California that have laid down some heavy regulations, which is the reason why a lot of the cryptocurrencies offices, headquarters like Bitcoin's moved out of New York into New Jersey to avoid that regulation. So it is coming. So this whole free, and which is kind of, because I was often told that, hey, governments can't do this and government can't regulate it and they can't track it. And then all of a sudden the state of New York regulates it, and it in such a manner that it forces most of them to move their headquarters out of the state. And then we start getting countries that start banning it. So I guess it can be regulated because and I guess it can be manipulated. Soros is not just wanted in Britain, France, and Russia, but also, from what I understand, quite a few Eastern European countries like Romania and Hungary. Isn't he Hungarian? Austrian, right? No,
he's Hungarian.
Yeah, Hungarian. Okay. Well, there you go. His own country of birth wants him in jail. That tells you a lot about the man.
Oh yeah, he's. I mean, I'm sorry if I offend anyone with my language, but he's a scumbag. Oh, a very wealthy scumbag, but still scumbag nonetheless.
If we were all to be so able to be so lucky to be so manipulative and so manipulate currencies and precious metals like gold and silver, I think Hungary wants him because he manipulated the gold and silver trade within Hungary, which really affected their economy. Yeah, he's a manipulator, and
then you have individuals such as Hillary Rodham Clinton. You have Barack Obama. You have Bernie Sanders, all these pinheads running around saying, oh, he's so wonderful. Huh?
Yeah,
really?
Like Harvey Weinstein, so wonderful.
Oh, God.
And then we find out that they were raping you. Just saying. Well, in any case, thank you so much for this rousing report, this week's report. We're going to keep an eye out on the North Korea thing. Because now they're wanting to talk to the South. Now people, don't get your hopes up. We're not talking about reunification here. We're just talking about the calming of hostilities, simply because Trump has said we're not going to put up with your BS anymore. And maybe next week we'll get some more information on what China is actually doing about this, because they keep moving more man and equipment up to the North Korean border.
I'll keep track of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if North Korea really wants China to keep doing that, but okay.
But I just want to say, hello and give props to an individual by the name of Gretchen Smith. She's at Code of Vets. She's on Twitter. Just either look up, at Code of Vets or Gretchen Smith. Awesome group, wonderful group, veterans coming together, making a stand for common sense, for dignity, for the respect, and also fighting for the respect not just for our country, but for our veterans, whether living or past or currently serving. Just join Code of Vets, either if you're a vet, know a vet, love a vet, child of a vet, join. Awesome, awesome people, wonderful people, and just partake with them. And like I said, just go to at Code of Vets on Twitter or look up for Gretchen Smith. And everybody have a great day and take care. You too, Roddy. You have a great one.
Thanks. Good. Have a wonderful afternoon, Agent. And we will be back, folks.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
And yes, indeed. One of the things that you have to remember now is that no matter what it is, money is money, and money is controlled by governments. Whatever form the government is, always has, always will be. There is just no other way around government not controlling, because otherwise there is no level playing field within a nation or on the planet. Simple as that. So I'm still not an alternate currency kind of guy, but if it changes, then it may change. I don't know.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin, this dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. The fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on this program, powered by Zinc Media Arts. Here it is, Wednesday, Hump Day, January number 10 in the year of our Lord 2018. Welcome aboard. Thank you to all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe who are tuning in. And, of course, all the new and regular listeners and irregular listeners as well. Yes, I want to get to some stuff now that I wanted to get to yesterday, but just ran out of time. But first, let me get here's some stuff that's a lead in. It's a new stuff today that's lead in to some old stuff from yesterday. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Yes, Wolff, the wonderful author of the Trumpian, anti-Trumpian storybook. Now, this guy, he's an author that's claiming that that he's authored a very well-researched, sort of say quasi-biography on the Trumps, on especially Donald J. Trump Sr. But he didn't interview with any White House cabinet official for the anti-Trump book. He admits he didn't interview anybody. He admits that he only spoke directly with Trump for about a maximum of 3 hours. Now, understand, when you're with Trump, now I've never spoken to Trump mano a mano person, but I know Trump and his type, and you don't talk to a person like that for 3 hours in total, because you're not going to get a lot of information in 3 hours. Not for a book like that. This was intended to be a hit piece from the start. By the way, wasn't this book, supposed to come out sooner than it did? Now, in the book. Now, I haven't read it. Now, I've heard a lot of people talking about certain aspects and certain excerpts from the book, and I have a lot of questions about it. Now, first of all, this book directly contradicts almost everything that they've been saying about Trump previous to this book. We have a major investigation going on, talking about Trump-Russia collusion. But Michael Wolff says that Trump didn't want to be president. He didn't want to win. And Melania was despondent when they realized that he won the presidency. They were shocked and awed and dismayed and depressed because he didn't want to win. Well, all right, the first question is, if Trump didn't want to actually win the presidency, then why would he be colluding with the Russians in order to win? I mean, seriously. That's not the only contradiction there, which is the reason why this book was put off from being published, from being released, because it's got a number of contradictions in there that they're hoping that people will not put two and two together. You see, the left thinks that we in the middle and on the right are just as stupid as they are, that we're not going to pick up on this stuff. Hello? Well, if Trump didn't want to be president, then there is no Trump-Russia collusion. Which means this entire time that they've been investigating has been a farce. It's been a giant cover-up. Not for Trump, but for everybody else. So in other words, Michael Wolff has just thrown the entire Democratic machine, political machine, under the bus by saying Donald Trump really didn't want to win the presidency. Which means that the whole Mueller investigation is a farce. It's a fake. It's wrong. It's unconstitutional. It's illegal because somebody else did something illegal in order to get this ball rolling. And Mueller obviously knows it, but he's covering it up. So everybody is involved is guilty of obstruction and covering up. Is anybody else picking up on this? It isn't just the fact that Michael Wolff quotes in his book or says in his book that Trump didn't want to be president. The fact is that alone throws everybody under the bus. It says everybody who is pursuing Trump and his team for collusion with the Russians are committing crimes to this day. Did everybody else miss that? But here's a guy who claims that he didn't really talk to anybody in the administration. He only spoke to Trump maybe a maximum of 3 hours total. And yet he's able to write this complete, truthful masterpiece of political intrigue. Well, maybe it's a masterpiece of political fiction. And we're also supposed to believe that because of this book, that's why Steve Bannon is separating from Breitbart. Well, maybe Steve Bannon is separating from Breitbart because Breitbart's sick of Steve Bannon being a total a-hole. Now remember, Bannon accused Donald Trump Jr. of treasonous acts for meeting with Russians. It's not treason to talk with Russians. And then he later apologized and said that Donald Trump Jr. is a great American. He's a great American patriot. Those are his words. Well, maybe Breitbart, the publication, just got sick and tired of Bannon being a total idiot, an a-hole. But, Wolff has admitted, Michael Wolff has admitted, and by the way, he spells his last name with two F's, but there are oftentimes I'll see one F. I find it interesting. Liberals will, especially on Twitter and Gab, liberals will take the task that I misspell a word or use the wrong abbreviation or didn't use punctuation. Yeah, but their own stupid little magazines and publications like the New York Times and every place else, they often misspell stuff and have poor. Now, I admit I am not the world's greatest speller. I'm a pretty rough speller. I'm terrible at it. I'll admit it. If there wasn't a spell check, I'd be spending. It'd take me days to write a typical article because I'd be doing, having to run to the dictionary if it wasn't for spell check. But seriously, even I notice when people misspell words, reporters and editors in places like the New York Times. I'm very good at, one of the things I was very good at in English was proper punctuation. So I'll notice, improper punctuation in publications like New York Times. But spelling, I shouldn't be able to recognize misspelled words in the New York Times because these people are supposed to know what they're doing. But even wait a minute. Even I know that word is spelled wrong. And that's pretty bad. But I always know that whenever they decide to hit on my spelling, they have no argument against my argument. One particular person said, well, you didn't use any punctuation at all this time. Well, if you actually read the post, you understand why. Count all the characters and spaces out, and you'll find that I had to remove all the punctuation in order to make the response fit the maximum characters allowed. I had to remove the punctuation was there. I had to remove it in order to make it fit. Because sometimes, you know how they say brevity is the soul of wit? Well, sometimes you can't be brief, accurately brief, in 260 or 300 characters. It just that doesn't work. And they forget the fact that it's spaces, not characters. Rod, it wasn't 300 characters. No, 300 spaces. So you see, punctuation and spaces in between those all count. Otherwise, you'd have a run-on word. Not, kind of like abcadabra, whatever statuitis. It didn't Big Bird actually at one point pronounced the entire alphabet as a word. To this day, I still can't do that. I can do the first part of it, abcadeca. No, it's the abcadec. I don't know. Not abracadabra. But he was able to actually. Do they still do that with Sesame Street? Do they still have Big Bird on? I don't know. I haven't watched Sesame Street in years. I have no idea what's. Yeah, we know who Elmo is. I know who Elmo because he's all over the place. They still have Cookie. Do they still have Bert and Ernie? Are Bert and Ernie now an actual real gay couple on Sesame Street? I don't know. I haven't. I've heard all the innuendos about Bert and Ernie being a gay couple. When I was a kid watching Sesame Street, I never once thought of that kind of crap. Not once. Never thought any. It was. I bet you The Odd Couple. Remember that? No, most people don't. The television comedy with The Odd Couple. Tony Randall and who's the other actor there? In any case, they'd probably be construed as being gay or gay-like, I guess. I don't. So I don't know if Bert and Ernie are a gay couple now or not. I thought I heard at one point that's exactly the direction they were going. I really had hoped that they didn't do that. That was just fake news, much like this book from Michael Wolff. 2 F's, by the way. Yeah, but that's a double F for the book, too. Oh, thank you, Dom. Dom has clarified it for me. No, they are best friends still. They are not gay friends, evidently. Okay, that's good. I'd heard the rumors. I didn't know if they actually had gone through with it or not, because, again, I don't watch Sesame. I don't have little children. I don't have little grandchildren or great-grandchildren or any kind of children running around my house that I would want to plop in front of the TV to have them watch Sesame Street for an hour. Yeah, so good to know. Well, they do have they do have gay characters now, right? They have all kinds of politically correct characters now on Sesame Street. Puppets. Muppets. I don't know who they are because I don't watch it. But yeah, well, maybe I'll probably have to sit down isn't Sesame Street is on HBO now, right? Is it still on PBS? Because it's also on HBO. I don't know how that works. But in any case, I'm gonna have to sit down and watch. Here it comes. A grown man is sitting down to watch Sesame Street. Sunny days.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Now, I just heard that California hot tub rectal gonorrhea is becoming a major problem in Southern California in the Hollywood region because they've been banning disinfectants like chlorine bleach. You can't use chlorine in the water. And if you're going to a gay party, you want to stay out of the hot tub because it's spreading fast among the gay population down there. Just saying. This other thing that leads out of the Wolff, Michael Wolff debacle of a book is the fact that there's a story, it's out there, on Yahoo News is actually reporting it via AP. AP has got the story. Dozens more so-called resistance books are scheduled for 2018. Now you gotta really understand some of these titles are just hilarious. Like The Road to Unfreedom by Timothy Snyder. Well, how is if Donald Trump is advocating for smaller government, less regulation, fewer federal government employees, how is that less freedom? How is that moving towards unfreedom? Can somebody tell me? I'm missing something here. How democracies die. Well, it looks like democracies are being shored up under Trump's foreign policy. Are they not? I mean, that's another title, How Democracies Die. When they call you a terrorist, Black Lives Matter. Well, Black Lives Matter is when you use terrorist methods and methodology, then you're probably a terrorist. You know, it's kind of like a duck. If you act like a terrorist, sound like a terrorist, walk like a terrorist, talk like a terrorist, you're probably a terrorist. You know, terrorists just don't come out of the Middle East, by the way. Just saying. I mean, it's kind of racist to assume that all terrorists are Arabic, Muslim. That's not what a terrorist is. It's not defined by your race or religion. It's an action. This is why I say that words really matter. They have real meanings, true meanings. You just can't make them mean whatever you want them to mean. Terrorist is not attributed to, you know, when it comes to the meaning of the word, to Muslims and Arabs. It's anybody who engages in such practices or tactics as we have labeled to be terroristic practices and tactics. So therefore, you know, Antifa and Black Lives Matter, or BLM, could be labeled terrorists because they use the same sort of practices and tactics and methodology of what we call terrorist and what they utilize. The only thing they haven't used yet is, you know, well, give it time. They just haven't used they haven't used bomb. But we have all these wonderful book titles, dozens and dozens, I guess a few dozen of them coming out, expected to come out in 2018. Here's the story. At the Booksmith in San Francisco, they're trying to keep up with all the anti-Trump releases and other works of the so-called resistance. It's staggering the number of books, says store manager and lead buyer Camden Avery. Politics has a much more prominent place in our store and for our customers than we've had for a long time. The rise of Donald Trump has been mirrored by an expanding literary genre that will intensify in 2018 with dozens of new works expected on top of the dozens from last year. Books of resistance will include guides to activism, reflections on democracy, investigations of Russian interference in last year's election, and legal analysis along with poetry and fiction. Investigations of Russian interference in last year's... Are you going to investigate the Clintons? By the way, I got something here that said the FBI, I hope this is true. The FBI is getting serious in its investigation of the Clinton Foundation. Well, I don't know what it means by getting serious. Because Lord knows that nobody from the Clinton Foundation, as far as I know, yet has gone to jail or even been indicted and brought up on charges. Has anybody been? Has that happened to anybody? Any indictments? Any jail time? I haven't heard of any. You would think, well, I mean, normally you would say, well, if it did happen, you would hear of it. But in today's era, with the way the mainstream media is, I mean, Hillary Clinton herself could be frog-marched and thrown in jail. And the mainstream media wouldn't, if it weren't for Fox, we wouldn't know it. Because they all they would talk about is Trump, missed a line or two during the national anthem. That's what they talk about. But Trump doesn't even know the national anthem, man. Look at it. He's a fascist. Doesn't even know the national anthem. And of course, we have a survey here that asks kids if they really understand by using certain questions, if they understand most college kids who use the term fascist, anti-fascist, and fascism, and Trump is a fascist, they can't define what fascism is. See, again, I'm telling you. Well, where is it? It's survey. Over 60% of college students can't define the word fascism. Well, if they can't define it, how can they say it's Trump? Words have meaning.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
You gotta wonder. They keep saying that Trump has got mental capacity issues. Remember when Republicans question the mental stability of Barack Obama? Well, it wasn't so much the mental stability. We said we mentioned how arrogant this guy was. And that there were a number of people that looked at his body posture, the way he held his head, the way he talked and looked at people, was truly very narcissistic and very arrogant in a very detrimental sort of fashion. But, and what did the left say? Left say, that's not true. It's not true. Not at all. And now all of a sudden we've got this guy. Everybody talks about, how mentally there Trump is, but the left keeps trying to bring on this narrative now that he's mentally unstable with the 25th Amendment. And I know some people misconstrued what I said about the 25th Amendment. Some people thought Rod, we already got a 25th Amendment. What are you talking about? They're going to ratify it. Like, no. What they want to do, what I'm saying that the left wants to do, is they want to change the 25th Amendment, which would allow and fully let, without the consent of Congress, the cabinet of the president, the cabinet members, to remove that. Now, as far as I can tell, the 25th Amendment does not allow for the cabinet members to remove a sitting president. What they want to do is allow the 25th Amendment to do that. That's what the whole. So what I'm saying is that either they would have to alter the 25th Amendment, which I don't think you can actually alter an amendment. You have to write a new one. Which means in either case, it would have to go back to the states. If it's not how the amendment is written. And I know they would try to go to some court and some judge would say, well, yeah, they can do that. But then the Supreme Court would have to jump in and slap it down and say, no, that's not the way it works. But that's what I meant by nobody they wouldn't be able to do this because they would have to get it ratified by the states. Because one way or the other, the 25th Amendment does not, as I understand it, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a constitutional expert here, and I don't think I'd have to be a constitutional legal expert to understand the Constitution. It's pretty simple in its meaning. But the cabinet cannot remove the president in such a way as the Democrats want them to be able to do. That's going to take it either an alteration or a writing of a new amendment, which means in either case, it's going to have to pass Congress and then be ratified by the appropriate number of congressional leaders, and states have to the appropriate number of states have to ratify before it can become constitutionally legit. So that's what I keep saying is that's not going to happen. And I think maybe what some people have misconstrued is me saying that there is no 25th Amendment right now and that we'd have to ratify the whole damn thing. That's not what I was saying. But again, it's the same thing with Trump. President Trump is out there. He's got these people running in circles. Because, look, he's not a politician. I've often said, the way that this president is handling a lot of affairs, both domestically and foreign, is the exact same way I do it. I wouldn't be politically correct and try to screw that. I'd say, look, you little pot-belly little dictator up there in North Korea. You want to jack around and jack off? Be my guest, but you come after us or any of our allies, and I'll wipe your freaking little podunk country off the map. It'll be like it never exists. That's what I would say. Well, that's basically what Trump was saying. And all of a sudden, because Trump says it, he's mentally deranged. And then look what happens a few days later. As Agent 0010 mentioned earlier this morning, all of a sudden, for somebody who cut off all communications to the south and to the west, and all of a sudden, maybe we should talk to you guys for right now. Really? And this is coming from a mentally deranged, and you have countries all over the place that are now respecting the United States. Like, this guy's serious. So Putin pulling out of the Middle East. You got ISIS totally decimated, and yet this is from the leadership of an insane person. By the way, this is from yesterday that I didn't get to. You got other countries that are looking for their own Trumps. Yeah, you've got other countries that are looking for their own, so-called populist candidates. France had Marine Le Pen, who isn't going anyway, by the way. She's still very much active in French politics. She hasn't gone anywhere. And I assume Germany had one, but he didn't. But Merkel is still having trouble forming a government in Germany. It tells you that she didn't win by as much as they said that she won by. She didn't win at all. She can't form a government, so that means she didn't win at all. But Mexico has a Trumpian populist, and supposedly, according to Politico, it could mean trouble for Donald Trump. If the left-leaning nationalist wins at Mexico's presidency, it could boost tensions over immigration, trade, and border security. Not really. So if the Mexican Trump wins, then that means it's Mexico first for Mexicans, which means he won't be pushing them across the border. Right? And wait. Now he's a Trumpist. He's a populist, but he's a leftist. Well, Trump isn't a leftist. Hillary was a leftist. Trump isn't a leftist. These people, including the Politico, these leftists in this country, they are so beside themselves. They are so hypocritical. They don't even realize how bad they are. Hey, no, okay, we've got a French Trump, Marine Le Pen. Well, she was a right winger. Oh, now we've got a Mexican Trumper. Well, he's a left-winger. Wait, where's Trump then? Is he a right-winger or a left-winger? Well, he's a fascist. Well, that's a left-winger. Well, no, fascists are rightists. No, people on the right want less government and more freedom. Fascism is bigger government and less freedom. Again, this is because people don't know the meaning of words anymore. How can you have a Trumponian candidate in Mexico who's a leftist that's going to cause Trump nothing but problems, but in France, in the last French election, they had a right-wing Trumpist? Well, you can only get that way if people do not understand or know the meaning of words. And this is exactly where we're at. So Mexico's Trumpian Trumpian populace, that could mean, well, not really. Because if he's going to be a fascist and he's going to be a Mexico first type of guy, that means he's not going to be pushing Mexicans across the border into our country illegally. And he's not going to be allowing illegal, stuff from the north to get into, from the United States to get into Mexico, which means no more gun running for Obama's Fast and Furious program, which I of course, is no longer, at least Trump doesn't think it's running anymore. Who knows if good old deep staters are still trying to run it. But Andre Manuel Lopez Obrador, that's his name, Andre Manuel Lopez Obrador, campaign rhetoric can make him sound like a Mexican Donald Trump. The left-leaning frontrunner in Mexico's presidential race is overtly nationalistic, pushes Mexican people first policies, and peppers his speeches with anti-establishment slogans that thrill the working class Mexicans who flock to his rallies. Well, if the working class are flocking to his rallies and they're going to elect him, that means they won't flock across the border anymore. I'm just saying. You can't make this stuff. By the way, Politico is also saying that Ivanka Trump is trying to have it both ways. She's trying to be Trump's daughter and a hashtag #MeToo supporter. Because she's a child birthed from the loins of Donald Trump, that she can't be a #MeToo supporter? I'm just as a side note, just thought I'd toss that out there for you folks. Now, his Trumpian policies of Monsignor Obrador but while his style might be distinctly Trumpian, his policy prescriptions could not be more different. Indeed, the election of the former mayor of Mexico City could be disastrous for Trump and his administration, creating an even more charged relationship between the two countries that could reduce cooperation on border security, trade, and immigration. We don't have any cooperation in any of that area with Mexico. Mexico thinks that because they got the grand end of the deal on NAFTA, that we shouldn't renegotiate NAFTA. They've been telling the United States that it's racist to put a border on our southern border. All the while, they have built and reinforced and reaffirmed their border with a wall and fence on their southern border with Guatemala. They don't want Central Americans like Guatemalans and Hondurans. They don't want Central Americans crossing into Mexico illegally. Oh, no. So they built a wall. But that's not racist. But if America wants to build a wall to keep Mexicans and others from crossing over illegally, well, that's racist. So we haven't been getting cooperation from Mexico on the border anyway. And as far as trade is concerned, well, we know where, NAFTA is concerned. So then this guy isn't really a Trumpian. Is he? Because, Trump wants border security. He wants, I don't know. Maybe Obrador does want, we got to keep those idiot Americans from coming into Mexico. Yeah, God forbid we spend our money down there. Anyway, I won't go to Mexico. I won't go anywhere in Mexico. I mean, I remember a year and a half ago, 2016, when I went on a cruise with my mother. She asked, she goes, hey, where do you want to go? We'll go on this cruise. Do you want to take this cruise and go Mexico, or would you go on a cruise? And I said, no, I would not go on a cruise anywhere that stops in Mexico. I would not. And we didn't. I mean, she took me on a cruise, and we went to Puerto Rico and Saint Martin. and Haiti, Labrador. Had a good time in Puerto Rico. Great time in Puerto Rico. Before the hurricane, the recent hurricane. This was over a year ago that we were there. Beautiful island, wonderful people, very patriotic. Which is why I'm also not sure why they would not support my Puerto Ricans. As patriotic as Puerto Ricans are, I don't know why they wouldn't support Trump. We may be missing something there. Republicans, I think we're missing the Puerto Rican vote. For some reason, Puerto Ricans think that they need to be voting Democrat, and Democrats automatically think that they will be voting Democrat. I think this is a perfect time for Trump to really shine and really point out the fact how bad the Puerto Rican government has been, and really help them out. And allow these people to be able to go back to their beloved island. It's a beautiful place. And I know that Puerto Ricans are natural-born American citizens, and I have no problem with them relocating anywhere in the 50 states. They can go anywhere they damn well please. I don't care. But the reason for them abandoning the island is due to poor Democratic liberal governance. And if Trump can help turn that around, he would win the Puerto Rican vote for the Republicans for the next generation. I'm telling you right now, we're missing out on an opportunity by not going after the Puerto Rican vote here. And that would turn the tide wherever Puerto Ricans go. They wouldn't be voting Democrat, let me tell you. If we could turn the tide around in Puerto Rico alone, it would mean the end of the Democratic stranglehold on Puerto Ricans. Just saying. I'm not gonna lie about that kind of stuff. But we need to do some work there. I have no problem with Puerto Ricans. I have a lot of Puerto Rican friends. Love them to death. Food is really good too. Ooh, it's delicious stuff. But I will say this, though. I have seen one of them mad, and it just reminds me of a black woman. Don't get a Puerto Rican woman mad. Honey, it's like a black woman. Get out of the way. Just saying.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
So did you hear what's going on in Vermont? Yes, my state neighbor, the neighbor next door to New Hampshire, Vermont, Bernie Sanders country, is going to do what California, Oregon, and the District of Columbia did, and they are considering offering a third gender option on driver's licenses. Yeah. Vermont residents who don't identify as male or female may soon be able to choose another gender on their licenses. What, it? Maybe? I mean, really? Vermont Public Radio reports the Department of Motor Vehicles new computer system will now allow a third gender option. Well, I mean, it figures it'd be in Vermont, but still. Well, actually, I to tell you the truth, I thought the three southern New England states would get the third gender option before any of the northern states did, including Vermont. But just the number of liberals that have inundated Vermont, I guess, is not surprising. But by the way, what are they going to do with we've got? Speaking of third gender, I don't see them doing a third gender with any of these sex robots. Here's a story here from the Mirror. Pole dancing robot strippers are in Las Vegas to spice up the geeky CES Tech Conference. Yes, they will perform at a gentleman's club alongside real dancers. I'm going to post this on rodeccles.net. Now, there's a video here. I guess it's the actual robots. Sex robot. Well, doing a striptease pole act. Can you? Would you go to a strip bar to see a robot? Well, I guess it would be more. There wouldn't be anything illegal about a robot, doing a striptease dance on robot pole dancers. I'm trying to get a mental, just not gonna, no. But should there be a third? What would a third gender sex robot look like? Are they gonna have robots that are trannies? Well, that you can't have that word, I suppose. Yes, that's a derogatory term. Will there be transgendered sex robots? For those who like transgendered people. I'm just asking. Well, the reason why I ask is because finally today there's another story here. The next big thing in sex robots, male sex robots coming in 2018. And these people that are creating these things are kind of sick, actually. They're just sickos. But the sex robot pioneer Matt McCullen, the CEO of Realbotics, I guess, R-E-A-L, one word, R-E-A-L-B-O-T-I-X, Realbotics, unveiled his Harmony artificial intelligence app and robotic head system. Recently, his app allows users to synchronize a bespoke AI personality with his robotic head, creating an eerily lifelike android companion that talks, learns, and satisfies sexual desires. The male versions of these things will come in different, as they put it, different sizes and different sizes. Well, they say they're referring to body size and other things, but so different shapes and sizes is what they quote unquote the male. Now, there is no different shapes and sizes when it comes to the female sexual robot, just the male robot. So the male robot will have a double audience. They'll fit the male sex robots will fit the desires of both heterosexual women and gay men, where the female sex robot is only geared towards heterosexual men. How's a female going to get off on I don't know. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. This is just the way the world's going. Fake news, fake sex, fake robots, whatever. Out of time for today because we have a real time clock, not a fake one. But we'll see you back here in about 21 hours tomorrow for Thursday's edition. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your Wednesday afternoon. Have a wonderful hump day. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Left dogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Oppo file? A Clinton plays a victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.